11 elite mindsets that will help you succeed early. The path to prosperity warmly greets you, dear friends. Ordinary people change outcomes, outstanding people change causes, but the true masters change mindsets. Professor Carol Dweck, a psychologist at Stanford University, pointed out in her lifelong research on personal development that the difference between individuals is not talent or hard work, but mindset. The level of a person's thinking is the ultimate ceiling of their life. Below are 11 top-tier ways of thinking. If you nurture them, you will achieve success earlier than others. Number 1. Adaptive thinking. A single raindrop weighs about 50 times more than a mosquito. When combined with gravitational acceleration, the force of the drop hitting a mosquito is like a giant bus slamming into a person. So why do mosquitoes survive on rainy days? An American professor used a high-speed camera to capture how mosquitoes escape rain. When a raindrop hits the mosquito's wings or legs, it tilts in the direction of the drop, then flips its body to let the drop slide off. The mosquito's body is covered with a water-repellent coating like a lotus leaf, allowing it to escape the drop simply by extending its legs and wings. Even when struck directly, the mosquito rides the momentum of the drop as it falls, then quickly repositions itself to separate and resume flying. No matter how heavy the drop is, mosquitoes survive by constantly adjusting their response strategies to the environment and situation. This also supports Darwin's theory of evolution, that the species which survives is not the strongest or the smartest, but the one that adapts most quickly to change. Andy Grove, co-founder of Intel, once proposed the theory of 10x change, that external changes are always 10 times faster than what we predict. Just look around. How many once stable jobs have been completely transformed? How many booming industries have been overtaken by virtual reality? In this ever-moving era, if we want stability, we must proactively adapt to change. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to follow for more truths about money and how to quickly achieve financial freedom. Number 2. Probabilistic thinking. During World War II, a research group at Columbia University was tasked with analyzing data to minimize damage to American aircraft. They noticed bullet holes were unevenly distributed across different parts of the planes and concluded that reinforcement should focus on the areas with the most hits. It sounded logical until the brilliant mathematician Abraham Wald disagreed. He argued the opposite, that reinforcement should be added where bullet holes were rare, specifically the engines. Wald explained that from a probability standpoint, every part of the aircraft has an equal chance of being hit. So why were the engines hit less often? He theorized that planes hit in the engine never made it back, whereas those hit elsewhere could still land safely. It's like how patients tend to have more injuries on their legs than their chest, not because legs are easier to injure, but because those shot in the chest often don't survive. Average people see the planes that return. Masters see the bullet holes that are missing. That's the gap between them, probabilistic thinking. Those who possess this way of thinking can make far more accurate decisions. Legendary investor Charlie Munger once compared his investment wisdom to fishing. The first rule of fishing is to fish where the fish are. The second rule is never forget the first. Throughout life, we face 3 questions: what to do, what not to do, and what to do again. Probabilistic thinking helps us distinguish what can be done, what should be avoided, and what must be done long-term. Number 3. Leverage thinking. In the 1970s, the British Library needed to transfer over 13 million books from its old facility in London to its new location in St. Pancras. The estimated transportation cost was £3.5 million. If you were the library manager, what would you do to cut costs? Hire cheaper labor? Reduce transport expenses? But with such a massive volume, every solution seemed like a drop in the ocean. So what would someone with elite thinking do? A young staff member approached the manager and said, "I have a solution. Just give me £150,000. The next day, the young man published a notice in the newspaper. Starting today, the British Library will be open to the public for free, with no limits. To help reduce the cost of relocating, please return borrowed books to the new library location." He transformed the conventional mindset of book transportation into a return system spending just a fraction of the projected budget while completing 90% of the relocation. That's the power of leverage thinking. In the book The Genius on the Left, The Madman on the Right, there's a quote, "If thinking is a wall, then the world lies on the other side of that wall. This world has no dead ends. The only thing standing in your way is your fixed mindset. When facing a deadlock, try changing direction. You just might see the light at the end of the tunnel." Number 4, four-dimensional thinking. Michael Simmons, a best-selling American author, spent 5 years studying self-made billionaires. He discovered that these exceptional founders share a common trait. When confronting problems, they apply four-dimensional thinking to view the world, whereas most people are stuck in one-dimensional thinking. One-dimensional thinkers confine their perspective to their specific expertise. Four-dimensional thinkers see from past to future, spanning centuries, to make decisions. One-dimensional thinkers chase short-term gain. Four-dimensional thinkers prioritize long-term value. Take Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. He invested billions into experiments that might fail or take 7 years to turn a profit. Or Warren Buffett, chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, who only invests in companies he believes he can hold for decades. Masayoshi Son, founder of SoftBank, once asked his employees, "Why do most people fail to achieve great success?" The room fell silent. He drew a mountain on paper, with a circle at the base and another at the summit, linked by the word ideal. He explained that an ideal is like a lighthouse. With a clear goal, you become more patient, calm, and unwavering. Short-term success won't distract you, and temporary failure won't frighten you. So never overestimate the achievements of a single year, and never underestimate the changes of a decade. Always do the right thing. Time will give you the answer. Number 5, upstream thinking. The editorial team of a reality program once interviewed top software engineers in the country and asked them what the core challenge of their profession was. You might think their work revolves around writing better code or mastering more programming languages. But the experts' answers had nothing to do with that. They unanimously responded, understanding the root need. The vice president of Tencent shared a story. While working at Google, he was responsible for improving the conversion rate from searches to ads. At the time, the sales team noticed that the conversion rate of Chinese users was low and suggested increasing the font size of the ads and changing the background color to make them stand out. Instead of implementing changes directly, he and his team asked, "What is the core problem you're trying to solve?" After discussing, they realized the business team's true goal was to increase conversions. Upon further investigation, they discovered that Chinese portal websites often had numerous banners at the top, causing users to scroll straight down and ignore the upper section of the page. Ironically, Google's ad placement was right at the top. So they moved the ad placement to the bottom of the page, and the conversion rate increased. Top-tier engineers don't just focus on writing code, they see the human need behind the code. That's upstream thinking. In the book The McKinsey Mind, understanding and implementing the problem-solving tools and management techniques of the world's top strategic consulting firm, this approach is emphasized as a core working principle. Number 6, lazy ant thinking. At Hokkaido University in Japan, a group of evolutionary biologists conducted an experiment with 3 groups of ants, each consisting of 30 ants, to observe how they divided their tasks. They discovered that most ants were busy, cleaning the nest, transporting food, and caring for the young. But some ants seemed lazy, just wandering around while the others worked. These lazy ants were marked by the researchers. Surprisingly, when the food source was cut off, the hard-working ants panicked. While the previously marked lazy ants quickly led the group to find a new food source. In reality, these lazy ants weren't truly lazy. They were scouts, observing and exploring. They were backup resources. This is known as the lazy ant effect. Being good doesn't always mean being busy. Psychologist Jordan Peterson once shared a self-assessment checklist. Do you spend too much time on easy tasks and feel proud of your effort even without results? Do you procrastinate under the guise of preparation? Do you look busy but make no real progress? Do you read many books but never synthesize or apply what you've learned? If you recognize these signs, it's time to change. As you bury your head in hard work, don't forget to look up once in a while to see if you're going in the right direction. Number 7, contextual thinking. In the mid-19th century, psychologist Kurt Lewin introduced the theory of context, stating that the external environment exists in two forms. First, the physical environment, what is objectively real. Second, the behavioral environment, how people perceive and imagine it. He told this story. One snowy night, a man on horseback arrived at an inn during a blizzard. He was relieved to find shelter. The innkeeper, surprised, came out and asked where the man had come from. The man pointed behind him. The innkeeper turned pale and said, "Do you realize you just rode across Lake Constance?" Upon hearing this, the man collapsed at the innkeeper's feet. While crossing the frozen lake, he thought it was just a snow-covered field. He was unaware of the risk. If he had known it was a dangerous, frozen lake, he might not have dared to gallop across it. But because he believed it was solid ground, he pressed forward. Once the truth was revealed, he was so shocked he collapsed. Humans are products of their environment. The best way to change yourself is to place yourself in a nurturing environment. Want to improve focus? Create a distraction-free space. Want to raise your awareness? Delete low-quality short video apps and read great books instead. Want a better mood? Avoid what brings you down, minimize conflict, and spend more time in nature. If you're dissatisfied with your current life, start by changing your environment. Change yourself, begin now. Number 9, whole-filling thinking. If you can't solve the problem, you'll become the problem. Peng Wei, CEO of Alipay, once said, "No matter what Jack Ma decides, my job is simple, to make that decision the right one." A person's greatest success lies in their ability to solve problems. Whether in work or life, whole-filling thinking is a core competitive strength. Writer Chu Chi once shared a personal experience. When he had just joined a company, only 3 days in, the CEO's assistant suddenly informed him that he would be attending a meeting. As soon as he entered the meeting room, before he even understood the context, the CEO harshly scolded him. "You're the one in charge of the company website, right? This site is terrible. We need a revamp immediately. I want to see a new version launched within 30 days. Chu Chi was stunned. He had only been there for 3 days and knew nothing about how the website worked. But he quickly realized that this was a trap laid by predecessors to test him. Many people would have declined. Chu Chi didn't. He simply nodded and got to work. For the next month, he worked non-stop, planning sections, recruiting developers, coordinating the UI design team, and in the end, he successfully launched a new version of the website ahead of schedule. The CEO was pleased and later discovered that Chu Chi wasn't even the person originally responsible for the site. This impressed the CEO even more. He recommended Chu Chi for a promotion to product manager and nominated him as the company's outstanding employee of the year. In just over a month, Chu Chi went from a newcomer to a trusted, valued team member, all thanks to his ability to fill holes. Chu Chi said, "Every time you fill a hole, it's a chance to train yourself and grow, to develop stronger willpower and resilience. Eventually, you become someone who can naturally handle challenges and build a solid foundation for a future career." Work is a series of holes, one after another. Your job is to learn how to fill them well. Only when the holes are filled can you move forward. The difference between people is revealed in whether they can fill holes or not. When facing adversity, exceptional people look for solutions. Mediocre people look for excuses and avoid responsibility. How far a person can go depends on how big of a hole they can fill. Number 10, sturdy barrel thinking. Don't let your flaws sabotage your strengths. A truly intelligent person not only understands their strengths, but also recognizes their weaknesses. Rather than constantly confronting your shortcomings, focus on maximizing your strengths and finding moments where you shine. There was a famous German scientist named Otto Wallach. As a child, he followed his parents' wishes and studied literature, though he had no interest in it. After one semester, his teacher told his parents, "Wallach is diligent but overly stubborn. Even with great character, someone like him won't thrive in literature." His parents then enrolled him in painting classes, but his art teacher said he lacked talent. No one paid attention to his works. Wallach encountered repeated failures by going down the wrong paths, which seriously hurt his confidence. Until one day, his kind chemistry teacher said, "You're meticulous and skilled with your hands. Why not give chemistry a try?" That's when Wallach's talent ignited. He quickly blossomed into a remarkable chemist. In 1910, He won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his success in synthesizing artificial fragrances. There's an old saying, "A ruler may be short, a foot may be long." Human intelligence develops unevenly. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Weaknesses can block our way and limit growth. The wise know how to leverage strengths and avoid weaknesses. That's how you carve out a wider, smoother path in life. Number 11, empty cup thinking. Sometimes, resetting your life requires emptying your mind. There's a story that once circulated online. After failing in a startup, a young man blamed the times and external circumstances. Later, hearing his parents talk about a highly enlightened monk at a temple, he decided to visit. Initially, the monk's disciple greeted him, but the young man arrogantly said, "How can a mere junior monk be qualified to receive me?" Not long after, the master himself came out humbly to greet him. As he poured tea, even when the cup was already full, the monk continued to pour. The young man asked, "Why do you keep pouring when the cup is already full?" The monk smiled, "Exactly. If the cup is full, how can it hold anything more?" At that moment, the young man had an epiphany. The monk had reminded him, wherever and whenever we are, we must maintain an empty mindset. Only by letting go of what's inside, especially past baggage, can we rebuild the future. Actress Ma Ili once shared a small but powerful moment when acting with Chen Daoming. Chen Daoming, a highly respected actor known for his skill and professionalism, didn't rush off after his scenes. Instead, he stood quietly to watch the younger actors perform. Curious, Ma Ili asked him, "Teacher Chen, when you watch us act, do you have any feedback?" Chen smiled and replied, "Though I'm a senior, I always remind myself to maintain a learning attitude, to blend in with the younger generation without arrogance." As a national leading actor, Chen Daoming still upholds the spirit of among any three people walking, there is always someone who can be my teacher. Always humble, always learning. Thanks to his empty cup thinking, his acting skills continue to grow sharper. French writer Émile Zola once said, "The true meaning of life lies in the endless exploration of the unknown and the continuous accumulation of knowledge. Those who dwell in the past and grow complacent will never achieve breakthrough progress. The exceptional dare to reinvent themselves, to erase their past and begin again, to become a better version of themselves." Bai Nam Tu once said, "The value and social status of a person is directly proportional to how irreplaceable they are." And where does irreplaceability come from? From independent character and unique thinking. Life is a journey of breaking through mental limits. Academic achievement is the bronze medal. Ability is silver. Connections are gold. And mindset is the ace card. The right thinking matters far more than mere effort. Redirection thinking helps you stop and pivot in time. Whole-filling thinking boosts your strength and sets you apart. Sturdy barrel thinking lets you magnify your strengths. Empty cup thinking helps you restart life with clarity. For the rest of your life, may we all cultivate these elite thinking patterns to live in harmony with the world. There's a saying, "The achievements you earn in life depend on your mental model." The way you think determines your path. If your thinking can't reach new heights, neither can your feet. The books you read, the roads you walk, the experiences you gather, and the people you meet are all stepping stones that upgrade your thinking. Keep sharpening yourself in this world, refining your mind, and one day you'll surpass your own limits and see a bigger world. Thank you for following today's content. If you found value in what I've shared, don't forget to share it with your friends and loved ones. Follow me for more insights into the secrets of wealth. Warm regards, and see you next time.